coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts. Hey man, shout out to everybody out there on Team Banky Pound, man. I appreciate the love. Boom, 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 boom. I appreciate the support. Let's go. Let's get it, man. I'm bouncing back. Man, as best I can. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I appreciate y'all holding on. Man, listen, I don't know nothing about this audio, but we working on it. Just be patient. It's going to get right. Either way, I'm going to keep pushing this content because that's all I know how to do. You hear me? I'm going to keep pushing this positive energy out there, man. So, y'all work with me until we get this thing in order. Hopefully, by the beginning of next week, everything will be hunky dory or whatever they call it. You dig? But anyway, man, I don't know. This was on my mind this morning, man. I want to drop this on y'all, man, because this was a valuable lesson for me in prison. Very early, it was a valuable lesson for me in prison. And that lesson was that, when you think somebody your friend in prison, you know what I'm saying, you got to be very careful who you call your friend in prison because they may not consider you as a friend. You may think you may think you their friend until they get around their real friends. You understand what I'm saying? And that's something that can be very detrimental to you in prison, man. That right there can cost you your life because you looking at a person in one way and they looking at you in another way. You understand? So I had to learn that lesson real fast in prison. And I'm gonna try to break it down to y'all where y'all understand. When I first started out, like I told you, I went to Southampton Receiving. So when I'm in Southampton Receiving, this is my first stop of prison from jail to Southampton Receiving. I told you I had a situation in Southampton Receiving where I got the rumbling and stuff, and they sent me straight to the wall. So when I go to the wall, like I told you, man, this is the dungeon. This is the the oldest prison in Virginia. This is where the killers dwell, all of them, they there. All the gangsters that been locked up for 30, 40 years and everything, that's where they was at. They was in the wall or they been through the wall. You know what I'm saying? That's where it begins at right there. So walking up into this joint is like an old castle. If you pull up old pictures of it, on the internet, you'll be able to see it yourself. And documentaries of the wall. 500 Spring Street. This was my second stop straight from Receipt. You know what I'm saying? I'm all of 20, 21 years old. You did? So it's crazy to me. So when I get in there, I'm young too, and you got these dudes that's been in there longer than I've been alive. You got these legendary dudes in there. You got these gangsters in there. You got these killers in here. You got everybody is in this joint. So I'm one of the youngest dudes in there. There's a couple other dudes in there was around my age, maybe 2 years, 3 years apart. You know what I'm saying? So naturally, once you find that out, you know that they knew in the system too. They couldn't have been locked up that long. So you might get cool with these dudes. One dude in particular, I'm gonna say his name, man. I don't even want to say his name because I just don't want to say his name because I ain't trying to stir up no old stuff or nothing like that. But we got cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just say his name was B. So me and B got cool because me and B might have been a year older than me, maybe two or something like that. But we was right in the same joint. But the crazy part about it is, little did I know at that point in time, this is when we both starting out, that, what I'm saying, more or less, we would be around each other from time to time again, all the way until our bit was over. All the way until both of us went home. And in fact, he ended up going home maybe a year or so before me, which was crazy work. Crazy work. Had as much time as I did, I think even more. But, it's just our paths ran parallel. You know what I'm saying? But me and them got cool, man. We got cool. You know what I'm saying? We used to chop it up. We was both in awe about all this stuff that was going on around us. It was crazy. But he was a thorough dude too. You know what I'm saying? I think he was locked up too. You know what I'm saying? He had a body. He had a murder charge, and he was young, and we just caught up in this life now where we got to, cope, adapt, and adjust to what's going on around us. So it was crazy. So we was navigating our way through this at the same time. So he was one of the few dudes while I was in the wall that I, kicked it with on the regular. Because like I said, we had that in common. Although he was from, VA and I was from, DC or whatever, but I had lived in VA, but I had never lived in the part that he was from, which is in the part that I'm in right now, right? So the 757. So like I said, we got cool, man, and so when I leave uh the wall, I ended up going to Augusta. He was already on Augusta. He had left before me too. Always leave before me, just like he left the penitentiary before me. He left before me. He was at Augusta, right? So when I go to Augusta, I ended up first part I went in, I ended up in another part because I told you I had the situation in the first part. I ended up in another part. I'm in the block with him, right? So when I see him and everything, oh man, what's up? What's up? Because it's good when you first starting off your bit and you run into other people that you know, because I didn't know hardly nobody in the system because you know what I'm saying. I wasn't from around there. I didn't grow up around there, so I didn't know these dudes that's locked up. So it was like he was a familiar face that I knew. So we got cool and we kicking it, whatever. He had his little crew that he messed with and everything. But mind you, like I say, he from down here, right? So I seen the people that he associated with. Now, everybody that you cool with, you may not be cool with who they cool with. That's understandable. You know what I'm saying? But if you got a bond where you feel like y'all cool, y'all started this thing together and y'all rock with each other, whatever, whatever, because it was the same way in the war. I felt like if I would have seen him get in a situation that was getting out of control, I would have tried to help him. And I felt like at that time he would have did the same for me because, like I say, we knew in here, we both trying to survive. We both got astronomical amount of time. We both young. So it was like, you know what I'm saying? It was a brotherhood like that. So it kicked off the same way on there. We got cool, you know what I'm saying? We hung out, we did a few things together, this, that, and the third, broke bread, ate some food together, you know what I'm saying? I was into the boxing, man. He played a little basketball, this, that, and the third, but a lot of times he kicked it with his homeboys too, because there was a lot of people in there that he knew that he grew up with, which was cool. But it just seemed like we always had a good friendship though. Like, you know what I'm saying? We understood each other, blah, blah, blah. Although we on a whole nother prison, whole lot more going on than what was going on in there because we was more so isolated. On Augusta is like Las Vegas, everything going on. They gambling, they smoking, they selling drugs, they stabbing, they trying to get at the female COs, they fighting the COs. I mean, it's a lot because you got mass movement on this joint. So I can remember, man, then, which was one of the bad points where I started the gambling and I was into the gambling and I'm playing poker and I'm shooting dice and you know what I'm saying? I'm getting into the penitentiary life. And I can remember one of his homeboys was one of the dudes that used to run things like the poker games, this, that, and the third. This was a dude that everybody was always up under because he had the money. He had the drugs. You know what I'm saying? At the time, I ain't know if B really did drugs. I knew he smoked weed, reefer. Everybody smoked the reefers. For me, you know what I'm saying? So, but dude had access to a lot of things. So a lot of dudes was, kissing his hand pots because he was the dude in that aspect. So I can remember, me, gambling and I'm at this poker game all the time. Sometime I win, sometime I lose. But I always had this in my head, like all the games was set up because it be a lot of them dudes in there that know each other in the game, even though he running the game. And then when you ain't got enough people to play poker, like, you want at least 4 to 5 people playing in a poker game in prison. If you ain't got enough, you got two, the house man, and you got one dude like me. I'm trying to get in another dude. That's 3 people. Dudes don't really want to play like that. It make the odds is crazy. You want to at least have 4, 5 if you can. So I remember when Jones used to be like that. Sometimes he used to call B to say, like, "Come on, get in the game." That means he's sponsoring him. So that means they really together. And he used to do that with other dudes too. So you would feel a certain type of way because now you feeling like, you're not playing against the house man, you playing against, a system that they got set up where it's designed for you to lose, right? So I remember, he used to get in like that sometimes. So I knew they was real close. I think dude was way older than him. I think dude like knew his uncle and all this, so he got some type of bond with dude or whatever, whatever. Man, but I can remember being in a game, man. This after about a year or something. I can remember being in a game and it was an argument over a hand, over a pot or something where I felt 100% like I was right. He's saying 100% I'm not. And I'm like, well, you know, I ain't, you know what I'm saying? I ain't backing up. This is where I stand at. I'm planting my flag in the ground, man. I'm saying you need to honor that, or it is what it is, or I ain't gonna pay because I had a tab. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I ain't paying nothing if you ain't straightening that. So he was like, no, you won. It was just a big confusion. So I'm like, okay, I ain't whatever. Listen, I just get up and I leave. So when I'm leaving, he was like, so you going to get that money? I said, I ain't going to get nothing. You know what I'm saying? I said, if you want it, you can come and try to get it. You know what I'm saying? So he won't built like that, but he was like, but he got other dudes, but he won't built like that. So he was more or less like, oh, okay, that's what it is. I see what it is. Okay, okay. I'm like, man, don't play with me. So I go on up in my room. So when I get up in my room, I'm mad now, but I ain't tripping because I'm like, I ain't gonna pay this money anyway, so I ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? Y'all on some foolishness. I ain't even gotta get in your game no more. This is how I'm thinking. And man, I'm up there about 10 minutes, man, and next thing you know, I hear, I'm like, yo, I look up, it's B. So he at the door and he like, I mean, what's up? What's up, bank man? You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna pay the money, man. You taking the money. I said, what? He said, man, you taking the money, man. The man ran the game, man. You gotta honor the game, man. You know what I'm saying? What do I say? I said, hold up, B. First of all, this ain't your issue. Second of all, I ain't paying nothing. You know what I'm saying? I said what I said, then I'm not paying nothing. He was like, man, nah, man, that ain't cool. I'm in the game too. My money in the game too. And I'm like, man, where's all this coming from? You know what I'm saying? It's like you trying to take up an issue because you with him. So that means if you with him, you against me, right? And we come up in this joint together, and now this is what you coming with. So it just triggered in my head, like boom. That's why I'm saying, you think you're a friend with somebody until they get around their real friends. You see what I'm saying? And this a dude up until that point right there, I would have went to war for him. You know what I'm saying? If some dudes would try to jump on him in the block, I would have been right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was like, I was throwed off by that. I was throwed all the way off. I'm like, man, go ahead, B, man. I ain't. No, bank though, you wrong though, man. I said, bro, I don't want to talk about that no more. I don't want to talk about no more. He said, yeah, because you wrong. He was getting like a little adamant there. Mind you, he ain't no sucker. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, B, just get away from my door, bro. I don't want to talk about that no more. You up here talking for another dude, dog. If he got an issue with me, tell him to come up here. He said, oh no, he ain't with all that. So that's why I feel like it's like you trying to take advantage of him because you feel like I said he running the game, whatever he like, that's he should be like whatever. He should be able to handle whatever going on. He the one running this, man. You ain't got nothing to do with this. You act like you trying to start an issue with me. He was like, no, but I'm just saying, I'm calling it what it is. I said, man, go ahead, man. Go ahead, man. Get away from my door. He said, yeah, all right, whatever, man. Either way, man. That's some old stuff, man. That's some sucker stuff right there. And he said that as he walking off, which made me even more mad. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what? So boom, I'm like, all right, boom, he leaves. And in that moment right there, that's when I realized that you can't let people get close to you unless you know who they are and unless you really, really know, man. You got to really do your due diligence. Because, like I said, up until that point, I went to war for him. But now, at that moment right there, I'm thinking about, do I got to go to war with him? You see what I'm saying? Somebody you was willing to go to war for, you maybe end up having to go to war with. And that was crazy to me. That was a crazy revelation because I ain't want to hurt him. And when I say I ain't want to hurt him, I always vision myself as the winner. I never vision myself on the bad end of altercation or a war. I don't even visualize it, so I can't even see it. You know what I'm saying? So when I go to war, I'm going to war to win. I'm gonna put the odds in my favor. I'm not gonna leave no stone unturned. So once I thought like that, I start thinking about hurting them. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. I start thinking about I might have to poke this joke. You know what I'm saying? And I just visualized it already in my mind. I said, man, if he keep pushing this issue or he send you, because I won't pay nothing. And I meant that. I ain't giving you nothing. You know what I'm saying? But it drove a wedge, man, because I did what I said I was gonna do. I won't pay nothing. I just ain't gonna give him this game no more or nothing. But that was it. Later on, a month or two went by, everything went back to normal, and I was able to play again because I was just that dumb to go play. Just had the one to play because you're so bored in there, but it boiled over and I ended up playing again and stuff. But as far as me and B, that put a wedge in between. We won't kicking it no more. We speak or whatever. Nah, I keep it moving or whatever because the issue was over. But I never was like locked in with him no more. It's like his issue is his issues, mine is mine. I wouldn't look for him to help me if I got into no situation because now I don't even trust him to do that. You see what I'm saying? So it changed everything. And it made me moving forward look at people differently before I let somebody get close to me or I turn around and say, oh yeah, this my dog or this my homeboy, this my friend or something. Nah, bro, you got to earn that. You got to earn that because you think somebody your friend until they get around their real friends. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't recognize that before it's too late, that could cost you your life. You gonna come up there and try to pull up on me about another joker when me and you started this thing together. That was crazy work to me. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, fast forward past that, man, I ended up on other camps with him. And we ain't never really talked about the issue, but we just saw each other, you know what I'm saying? Ended up in the same block again. We kicked it a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Woo, woo, woo. And we was all right, you know what I'm saying? Speak to each other, might even dap each other up. But in my mind, I knew where you stand now. I can't never, you know what I'm saying? I can't put that type of trust in you no more. I can't put that type. I know if somebody come up in there that you grew up with or you cool with, you know what I'm saying, you'll turn your back on me. So it was never like that again. But over the years, we did become cool because we were still in the battle to get out of prison. We still fighting the same fight. You know what I'm saying? As many years as he did, that's how many years I'm doing. We going year for year. We started together. We year for year. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, man. So I ended up on another institution with him. You know what I'm saying? We kicking it. We you know what I'm saying, do this, do that, you know what I'm saying? Different spots I might, you know what I'm saying, was getting weed and getting stuff like that. I know he smoked weed, pull up on man, what do I give him a little weed or whatever. It was always all right because we was always still in the same fight. But in the back of my mind, he ruined the whole real bond of the real friendship when he went against me. You understand? He went against me, and that hurt everything because I could never trust you again. Loyalty, once loyalty is broken, man, it can't be repaired. I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? And that was the key thing, the loyalty. Now did I still look at him like he was I dude, like he was a third dude, and he was far from a sucker. I'd never known anybody to do anything to him and get out on him, like take nothing from him, put their hands on him, or nothing. He gonna hurt you. You know what I'm saying? It won't no ands, ifs, or buts about it. But see, I'm knowing this, so when I deal with people like that, I know what to do. I know what needs to be done. And if it need to be done, and I gotta do it, I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? But I never wanted to do that to him. You know what I'm saying? And I know he probably felt the same way. He probably felt like he could do whatever he could do to me if he needed to do it. But he won't. But I knew he probably felt like that. That's how you gotta feel in prison. That's how you gotta move. That's how you gotta think. You know what I'm saying? But years went on and years went on, man. And then next thing you know, man, we rolled from years to decades, man. And we just keep running into each other. And then I can remember being on the joint, you know, um, going home. You know what I'm saying? I went home. I made parole in 2020. You know what I'm saying? And I can remember being on the joint with him. I had been on Not Away from since 2014, I believe. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, since 2014. And he was on the joint. And we weren't in the same block of them, but we definitely see each other on the yard, kick it on the yard, do this, that, and third, probably even drink some wine together on the yard sometimes. And we'll walk the yard, talk about, where you been and how, you know what I'm saying, and this struggle that we've been in to get freedom and like one day that we gonna get it. And around this time, dudes was making paper. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, man, we gotta get up out here, man. You know what I'm saying? We came here young. Now we dead on near the old timers. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we was having conversations like that. And man, lo and behold, man, he had got locked up for some crazy stuff, man. Some stuff about in the vision room. And it was crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it was like something with him and his wife. He had got locked up for something in the vision room. They had locked him up for investigation. But at the time, he had went up for paper. And he was waiting on the answer. And it was like, boom, that's like the worst case scenario you could be in, be waiting for an answer and you in segregation. You know what I'm saying? Or it come time for them to come take you off of parole and you in seg, and then they gotta bring you out of seg, and they gonna want to know what you doing in segregation. You know, talking about making parole. So it was a crazy situation for him. And man, I think his counselor or something ended up going to bat for him or whatever, and they ended up dismissing the charge, and he made parole, man. And it was crazy because I remember I was coming around the bend, getting ready to go to the law, not the law library, the regular library myself, and he was in SEG and he was hollering out the window, and he said, man, he made parole, and I was like, man, what? And he was like, yeah. I said, for real though? He was like, yeah, and I was happy for him. I was genuinely happy for him. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, boom, I had never even seen nobody make parole from in SEG before. And I said, you in SEG and they still say you made it. He said, man, they called me over there, told me I made it, man. They come and get me, man, a couple of days, take me to re-entry. I said, from SEG? He said, yeah. I was like, man, that's crazy. So I didn't know if he was back there losing his mind, because like I told you, people lose their mind all the time in the penitentiary. You see them today, they sane, tomorrow they insane. So I'm like, man, that's crazy, man. And I remember I said, man, B say he made, yeah, somebody said B made parole. So yeah, he did make it, man. He ended up leaving before me, man, which was crazy work, man. But that's how our bit started out, you know what I'm saying? But that taught me a lot of how I moved and who I let get next to me while I was in prison, you know what I'm saying? And it came from that situation right there, because that was the first situation that I had like that. And the crazy thing about it is, since I've been home, I had went to an event, right? And since I've been home, and I ran right into him, man, and we chopped it up the whole event and everything. Woo, woo, woo. You know, 'cause we free now. We on the street, man. You know, all that is dead. You know what I'm saying? And I was genuinely happy to see him doing good, and vice versa, man. But yeah, man, if I could get with him, I'll get him on here, man, and we could sit down and chop this up, man. Maybe on the membership or something in front of y'all, man, and I'll let him know. I don't know if he knew that I ever felt like that, you know, when he did that. I don't know. I don't know what his mind frame was, but you know, that's just some real penitentiary stuff right there that be happening, man. We all in there struggle for survival in there, man, and you gotta figure out your best way to survive, just like the next man gotta do his, you know. But he taught me a life lesson on survival in prison with that friendship right there. So, you know, just another part of my story, man. But anyway, y'all talk to me in the comments. I talk back, man. I'm trying to shake this sickness, man. It's coming off me slowly but surely, but the show must go on, man. One monkey don't stop no show, man. We gonna keep getting it and getting it. You heard me? So you make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, hype the video, man. Let's go. Let's get back into this algorithm and let's get this P pushing. You heard me? Let's go. Let's get it. Be safe, be smart, make good decisions, and duck them hooks, man, because they out there.
The banking special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man.
My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts.